At 82, I've seen and learned a lot about life. But if there's one decision I deeply regret, it's moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the right choice. My family reassured me that I'd have all the care and comfort I needed. I trusted them, but the reality was nothing like what I had imagined. If you're considering this option, whether for yourself or a loved one, you might think it's the safest decision. Maybe you've been told it will make life easier. But before you take that step, I want to share 6 things I wish someone had told me before I moved in. Because the truth is, life in a nursing home isn't just about convenience. It changes everything. And once you go in, getting out isn't as simple as you might think. Stay with me until the end, because some of these lessons might surprise you. And if you know someone who's thinking about moving into a nursing home, this video might be exactly what they need to hear before making such a life-changing decision. Regret number 1, losing my independence. The biggest shock wasn't the small room, the fixed meal times, or even the unfamiliar faces. It was the realization that I had lost control over my own life. Before I moved in, I had my own routines. I decided when to wake up, when to eat, and how to spend my day. I could take a walk whenever I wanted, cook my own meals, or just sit quietly in my favorite chair with a book. But inside the nursing home, my time was no longer my own. Everything ran on a schedule that wasn't mine. Breakfast was served at a set time, even if I wasn't hungry. Lights went out at a certain hour, whether I was ready for bed or not. If I wanted to take a walk outside, I had to ask for permission, and then wait for someone to assist me. Even simple decisions, what to eat, what to wear, felt less like choices and more like privileges. I remember my first week there. I woke up in a bed that didn't feel like mine. I reached for the book I had been reading at home, but as I looked around, it hit me. This wasn't my home. My books, my favorite chair, the little comforts I had spent years collecting, they were gone, in their place. Sterile walls, a bed I didn't choose, and a feeling I couldn't shake. I was no longer in charge of my own life. The hardest part, realizing that once you give up your independence, getting it back is almost impossible. You adapt because you have to. You stop arguing when they tell you what's for dinner. You stop asking if you can go for a walk whenever you want. You learn to fit into their system, but in the process, you start losing yourself. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the small freedoms that make life yours? Because once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you ever thought possible. Regret number 2, feeling forgotten. One of the hardest truths about moving into a nursing home is realizing that the world outside keeps moving without you. When I first arrived, my family reassured me that they would visit often, and in the beginning, they did. My daughter came by once a week. My grandchildren visited on weekends. For a little while, I still felt connected to my old life. But as the months passed, the visits became less frequent. My daughter started calling instead of coming. My grandchildren got busy with school and work. Holidays were the hardest. Everyone promised they'd come, but somehow plans always changed at the last minute. And suddenly, I found myself sitting alone in a common room, watching other residents stare at the door, hoping today would be the day someone remembered them. It's not that my family stopped loving me, life just got in the way. When you're not around every day, it's easy for people to assume you're fine, that you're adjusting, that you don't need as much attention. But the truth is, the longer you're in a nursing home, the easier it is for people to forget just how much you still need them. I remember one evening, sitting in my room, holding my phone, debating whether to call my son. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to remind him that I was here, waiting for a visit that might never come. So I put the phone down, and that's when it hit me. This was my life now. Watching the days go by, hoping someone would remember to include me. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you prepared for the loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, once you're out of sight, it's easier than you think to become out of mind. Regret number 3, losing my sense of purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just changing where I lived. I didn't realize I was also changing why I lived. At home, I had responsibilities, routines, hobbies, routines, hobbies. A reason to get up in the morning. Even the small things, watering the plants, making my own coffee, tidying up my space, gave me a sense of purpose. But in the nursing home, those daily rituals disappeared. Meals were made for me. Cleaning was done by someone else. The plants? Well, they weren't mine to take care of anymore. At first, I told myself it would be nice to finally relax. No more chores, no more responsibilities, just rest. But after a few weeks, I realized something was missing. The days felt long, stretched out with nothing to do but wait. I saw it happen to others too. People who had once been full of energy now spent their days sitting, staring, waiting for time to pass. I met George, an 84-year-old carpenter who had spent his life building things. At home, he was always fixing something. But here, there were no tools, no projects, nothing for him to create. One day he looked at me and said, "I feel useless," and I knew exactly what he meant. When you no longer have something to care for, something to work toward, life starts to lose its meaning. The mind slows down, the body follows, and soon you start feeling like just another resident in a place where time moves, but nothing really changes. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? Because once you move in, finding purpose isn't as simple as filling your time. It's about holding on to the things that make you feel alive. I told myself it was only temporary. I thought I'd give it a try, see how things went, and if I didn't like it, I could always leave. What I didn't realize was just how difficult it would be to get out once I was in. At first it seemed simple. If I wasn't happy, I'd just go back home. But home wasn't the same anymore. It sat empty, and managing it from a distance became nearly impossible. My children had already started making changes, selling things they thought I wouldn't need, even considering renting it out. When I brought up the idea of returning, they hesitated. "Are you sure you can manage on your own? Wouldn't it be safer to stay? We just want what's best for you." And then there was the harshest reality of all: physical decline. After months in a place where I didn't have to cook, clean, or even walk very far, my strength wasn't what it used to be. The independence I once had was slipping away, and the thought of living alone again felt overwhelming. Fear kept me stuck. I met others who had gone through the same thing. They thought they'd try the nursing home for a little while, only to realize that leaving wasn't as easy as they had imagined. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to adjust to life outside. Some people even lost the option entirely. Once their home was sold, or their savings were drained by the cost of care, there was no going back. That's the part no one tells you. Moving in feels like a decision you can reverse, but for most people, it isn't. The nursing home slowly becomes your entire world, and before you know it, the life you once knew, the life you built, starts to feel like a distant memory. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you prepared for the possibility that once you enter, leaving might not be as simple as you think? Because once you settle in, the barriers to leaving, whether financial, physical, or emotional, can be much harder to overcome than you expect. Final thoughts looking back. I don't regret growing older, but I do regret believing that a nursing home was my only option. I walked in expecting comfort, safety, and a better quality of life. What I found instead was a world that slowly took away my independence, my privacy, my purpose, and even my sense of self. Does that mean nursing homes are all bad? Not necessarily. Some people truly need the level of care they provide. But before you make that decision, think carefully about what you're giving up, because once you move in, life will never be the same. If I could do it all over again, I would have fought harder to stay in my own home. I would have explored every possible way to get help without giving up my freedom. I would have made sure that I truly needed to be there before making such a life-altering move. And if you're facing this decision right now, I hope you take the time to ask yourself, is this truly what's best for me, or is it just what seems easiest at the moment? Because the life you have today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is worth holding on to for as long as you can.